pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to this Monday, August 22nd Board of Commissioners meeting. The first item of business is public comment, which will be for anyone that's not on the agenda or any item that's not on the agenda. So I'll open it up if we have any public comment. Is it related to something on the agenda? Yep, that's on the agenda.
I can't speak for that.
We'll just wait till it comes to the time on the agenda. That's all right. Okay, seeing none, we have Carol Price, and I do not see Anita, so Carol Price with United Way. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for giving me some time. As you said, I'm wearing my United Way hat today, the president of United Way, and I wanted to share a little bit about what's going on with United Way, and it's our campaign time. You know, our mission is to fight for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in Clinton County, and we do that by raising funds, looking for needs, finding people to meet those needs, and providing them the funding and partnerships that they need. So this last year, we're currently serving 17 agencies, 19 programs, because we actually fund programs. I wanted to share a couple of those that you might not know about. We do the normal Boys and Girls Club, Coach Kids, things like that, but we have a program with Healthy Communities where children who need mental health assistance, they're at school, the counselor thinks they need some assessment, they talk to the parents. Healthy Communities picks up the child at school, takes them to the Healthy Communities office, they receive their assessment there. If they need daily or weekly treatment, they receive that at Healthy Communities and they're taken back to the school. So Healthy Communities provides this transportation so that parents can stay at work, the kids stay at school, and they just leave in time for their treatment. So that's a great one. And then Lifesaver, I don't know if you're familiar with the Lifesaver program. We started it a long, long time ago. Basically, it's a program where people have a band on. The people that might wander, children or adults, and they wander, and if they get lost, their caregiver calls, and they are found in about 15 minutes using a transmitter system. So it's a great program. Those are kind of different ones that you don't hear about too often. I wanted to share those with you. Then in addition to our programs and agencies that we fund, we do some impact projects. So the Home for the Night was one of our impact projects. So we saw the need, we worked with other partners, found money. I think we raised $150,000 from an IU health grant, and then that project does no longer belong to United Way, it belongs to someone else. So the year before that, we worked with pre-K to increase the number of pre-K seats we have in our county. This year, we're dedicated to a child care early learning center and career tech center in the industrial park. So these are the kind of things that we do with our money. But I wanted to also share with you that when you think about that, all the money that's raised, it's raised from people in the county, but it also stays in the county. We don't have any programs that we fund that the money leaves the county. In fact, we had Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts that we did fund, but we found out that the money was not staying with our local troops. So we stopped doing that, and we asked our local Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts troops to ask us for money. They can present a grant, and so we're giving them the same money, but it's being used locally. So that's working out really well. Our goal this year, one of the other things that we did this year I thought you might not know about is the summer feeding program that happens every summer when the kids aren't in school. The YMCA was doing that program, and we learned about March, April, this last spring, that they weren't going to do that anymore. So the YMCA, the United Way took that on as a project, and that will be our project from now on. So again, we look for the needs and figure out if we can afford to help them financially, or we can find them partners to make it work. We can't do all those things. We have a 2-person staff, but we do review everyone who receives money from us. We review them twice a year to make sure they're doing what they said they were going to do. So our goal this year is $480,000. That's a lot. I think there's enough finances and money in our county that our goal probably should be about $800,000. But United Way hasn't always been doing all the things we're doing, so now people are more engaged in it, so it's good. So what I'm here to ask you is, we have, the campaign has started. The county is one of our pace setters. In August, we do pace setter campaigns to figure out, okay, how's it going? Is it looking good, or, what do we need to do to adjust? So the city and the county are two of our pace setters. And you did this last year. You gave a day off with pay for a fair share gift. So if a person gives 1 hour of pay per month, that qualifies as a fair share gift, and then you gave them a paid day off. And I'm not sure how that all worked in your bookkeeping, your HR department, but that's what I'm asking for again this year. The city has done this now. This will be their third year. It really has increased the number of participants. We, last year when you did it, you tripled your participants. And it's still low. It's still low. There's still lots of room for improvement in the county. But, and I would love to go speak to, different departments if you would allow me to call your department heads. I would love to go speak to them and share with them. But so anyway, that's what I'm here to ask for. I want you to offer an incentive for your employees to provide funds to United Way to invest in our own community.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, any questions, comments?
Carol,
Yes.
what happens if somebody that donated last year donates more than they did?
If they,
Isn't there a grant?
yes, we do have a matching this year. So every dollar that's new will be matched by the state United Way. Thank you
Okay,
for
you're
reminding
welcome.
me of that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
So-
So like
if
last
you
year,
if you
we,
donate $1 more
Yeah.
than you did last year,
Yes.
you don't match it.
And it's not just that dollar more that's matched.
It's your
It's
entire
your
donation.
whole gift.
Yeah.
okay.
It's matched again.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
good.
I'm going to pass these out while you're talking. And in here, there's a sheet that lists what the fair share example is. You paid bi-weekly, and there's a sheet in there that would tell people easily how much that would be. And, yeah.
Carol, as a commissioner, I would not have an issue with you speaking with any of the department heads so long as these two gentlemen were also okay with it.
Right.
Outside of that, when it comes to other elected officials, that's something that you'll have to communicate with them individually and ask them,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
in my opinion.
That's fine.
Agreed.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I would call each of them individually, and if they don't want it, they don't want it. It's okay. But sometimes people just don't know about United Way, and I'm hoping I told you something new today that you didn't know. So,
Yep, agree. No, I think it's a great program, and I'm glad that the county's able to participate, and hopefully we can increase our share for 22 as well. Like,
Yes.
I mean, 46%, I believe, was the increase
Right,
from
right.
20 to 21. So
Yes,
hopefully
that's
we
right.
can match that going into
That's right.
22.
That's right. So, okay,
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Next up is Rick Campbell with a highway update. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. Okay. We finished our paving projects with Pug Mix. We did 3 miles of road with Pug. We did 1,000 east, a mile of it. We did 1.5 miles of 400 north from 1250 east to the county line. And we had a little bit left over, and we had some spots in a few roads that needed some attention, so we put it on there. And we still got a little bit. We got about 2 truckloads left, and we're using it just to hand patch with, so we don't have to buy cold mix.
Gotcha.
Okay? And we have new weight limit signs that were mandated by the state. We had to pay for these out of our own pocket. There was no money available to buy these signs. That's what all the bridges get. That'll be at the bridge. We're already getting questions about these. That's why I'm up here telling you guys all about them, because you're gonna get questions.
Okay.
But all the bridges get these. We have 6 bridges that gets a different sign. But this goes at the intersection, and then it goes at the bridge. This goes at the intersection, tells you how far away that bridge is. Okay?
Interesting.
So if it's a half mile down the road, it'll say a half mile. If it's a mile down the road, it'll say a mile. This sign also gets a weight limit sign on top of it. But the weight limits on our bridges are not changing. but we're just changing a little bit for the emergency vehicles. Like a single axle, this is a single axle bridge, 16 ton. But if you have more axles, you spread the weight out, you can haul more across that bridge. Okay, and this is the other one. It's a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I like it. Props. You brought props today.
This one here, you don't have to have the weight limit sign because it says right on there, weight limit, single axle, tandem and gross, okay? So we're in process, we've got 26 bridges that need weight limit signs.
Okay.
We have 6 that are on main roads, we'll get this bigger sign. One of these at the intersection and one at each end of the bridge. So that's some changes we're making. They had to pay out quite a bit of money for these signs. They decided at the end of July that we needed to do this, and we needed to have them up by the end of August. Well, we're not gonna make it, but we're working at it,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So, anyway, we took the money out of the bridge fund for the signs.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Well, I guess the only thing I would want to reiterate for those watching at home is that the state mandated this.
State
So,
mandate.
if we get questions, it was not like we decided to do
No.
this or thought it was necessarily a great idea. It
It's,
was mandated.
We had to go through and do a lot of relocates because the ones at the intersections was tore out. And we won't be able to keep them up. But we gotta put them up. You gotta take a picture of all 4 of them and send it into the bridge guy, and he sends it on to the state.
Okay.
All right? Thank
Great.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rick.
Next up is Liz Stitzel with Area Plan Update. Good morning, Liz.
I feel like an underachiever, like I need to have some kind of props to illustrate mowing grass. And, no, with all seriousness, things are going fairly smoothly. Still getting a few grass complaints here and there, but it's been real dry, and I anticipate as we move into fall, that'll slow down like it does every year. Do have a situation I'm aware of, and I don't see Mr. Wagner here this morning, but just so that you are aware, the house on Michigan Town Road that you've condemned and that
Yeah.
we're moving toward bid, we did get a chance to look into what's going on over there. As you guys had noted, there'd been some work. They have just been doing siding and roofing work, neither of which requires a permit. However, we made them aware of the fact that that doesn't change the fact that the house is projected to come down. I did recommend to him that if he wanted to have any conversation about that, he needed to get on the commissioner's agenda. My recommendation, given the amount of time at which we've dealt with that house, would be that the only way that we would consider issuing a permit and allowing it to proceed is if they're willing to financially guarantee the remodel. So basically what would happen is, if that was what the commissioners chose to do, is similar to other projects where there's a risk if something falls through, they would need to provide an estimate for our attorneys to look over to see if it's reasonable of the cost to fully repair it and make it habitable with a certificate of occupancy. And then they would put up 125% of that in a form of financial assurance acceptable to the area plan and the commissioner attorneys. Normally that's a bond. And then the commissioners would be able to hold that, and they could have kind of a 6-month time period. If they get it done, then great. We release the financial guarantee, issue the certificate of occupancy, remove the condemnation off the house, and life moves on. If they don't get it done, then the commissioners can decide whether they want to pull that bond and pay a contractor themselves to finish it out, or if they would rather remove it and be done with it, and we've got money to cover that too. So it sort of puts a stopgap, given the number of years and the number of times that they've kind of been attempts. So that's kind of my recommendation. Right now, obviously, he's not here this morning, so if I hear from him, I'll let him know that I made you aware of the situation, and see if we can get him here for the next meeting.
I'm right here, actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And I looked right at you, didn't I?
Yeah.
And, all right, no problem. I apologize, scratch half of that, but you definitely heard my recommendation.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
We love the plan that we talked about with her if you guys want more details about why it was delayed or whatever, I'm sure you guys don't really care as long as we get it done, but yeah, we sat down and talked and we're perfectly willing to do whatever she wants. So.
Okay, so you've discussed the bond and the
Yeah,
120, and
we don't know how to do that, but I'm sure she might direct us to someone.
Yep, so the first thing would be to get a written estimate from, your contractor for your total to be reviewed, and then we'll be able to do the math off that and say, all right, here's the amount you need to put up as security. And then if you're going to use a bond, you would contact a financial institution. And then usually they'll float a draft of that across that our attorneys can look at to make sure that the language is such that it's going to cover what's needed. And then once it's approved, then you go ahead and pull that and provide a copy. And then we hold it as assurance, and then you work within you'd be able to pull your permit and work within your timeline to get it resolved.
And is that money, is it unaccessible, or can we use that money for the allotted amount?
Tom, are you able to explain kind of how a bond works? It's,
Sure. So you get a bond in the amount of whatever cost it's going to take to either demolish or take care of the property, but you pay a fraction of that for the bond. Okay, it's like an insurance basically is what it is. And then if for some reason you weren't able to fulfill that, the bond would take care of that. But you can't use the money, it's only used there for in case something goes wrong and you're not able to fulfill what you're supposed to do. But you don't pay, let's say if you get a $40,000 surety bond, you'd pay a fraction of that, fraction.
Okay.
but it provides insurance for the commissioners to know that either if you don't get it addressed, then they have options to get it addressed, and a year from now, we're not having the same conversation, and it's out of all of our hair, so. And ideally, an asset for you.
well, sounds like we have a plan, and I know Liz will work with you to try and get everything working in the right direction. So for me, I'd obviously rather see it refurbished than condemned, so, we appreciate that, but we'll work through the legal channels and make sure everything's taken care of.
Do you want to specify a timeline in which the estimate and the financial assurance should be in place in order to issue the permit? I would recommend something reasonable, but just so it's not open-ended.
60 days.
Thinking 90 days.
90 days, is that agreeable?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, yeah, we'll go 90 days.
Yep,
All right,
works for me.
okay. Any other items?
I don't think I have anything else unless you have anything for me.
I do not. Good.
Nope.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Awesome. And if you want to reach out to me, I'll get you started on that path.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Next up, we have our Paul Philippi quarterly grant report. Doesn't look like anyone's here for that, but this is just to clarify, we are basically the pass-through for the federal share, so we have to sign off on the grant that supplies money to Paul Philippi. So I will entertain a motion to sign on behalf of Clinton County for 3 grant applications.
It's specifically for public transportation.
Correct. Yes.
Which is why it's a federal program.
Yep.
I don't have any questions. I'd make a motion
None.
to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Next up, we have the speed study analysis from 200 South, which, if you remember, came to us as a request from, I believe, Mr. Lane, roughly sometime in June. And so this is the analysis which was in our Google Drive in regards to the study. So, Mike, do you want to run through it, or you just want me to kind of go through it? Okay. So they ran the analysis for 2 full days. I guess to back up, this is between 39 and Alhambra, so east, 200 southeast of 39. It's currently, the speed limit's 55 as it's not posted. It showed, so I thought the interesting thing was the travel showed most of the occupancy was going between 36 and 45 mile an hour. The estimated that 85% of it that we would set the rate or the new speed limit in that area. So their suggestion is to lower that to 50 mile an hour from the current 55. Personally, I think 45 may be a more appropriate speed limit based on the data that has been provided. So I don't know if there's questions or any comments in the audience as well regarding this. So
I, like you, Jordan, I thought that 45 made a bigger impact to us than the 50 did. So I would make the motion that we secure it going forward with the 45-mile speed limit.
I think that seems appropriate, especially given the fact that it's soon to be resurfaced and striped and all that good stuff, and I'm sure that'll pick the pace up on its own, so, yeah, I don't have a problem with 45 miles an hour.
okay, so have a motion.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. We will change the speed limit from 39 to Alhambra to 45 miles an hour, which I believe is appropriate considering it's partially residential through that area. So. Okay, next up is Ordinance 2022-08, which is the nepotism policy, and I guess I'll make kind of a comment ahead of time before this. I know we have a lot of people that want to speak on it. I think based on the timing and where we're at with things, that it would be in our best interest to just table this ordinance for right now and just allow it to be addressed later in the future. So I'll put that out there. We'll, again, open it up because I know people are here and they have things they want to say. But that would be my recommendation at this point. So,
I'll make a motion to table the ordinance.
Second.
okay. The motion to table this ordinance carries 3-0. But since everyone did show up, I'll allow anyone that wants to go to speak.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm not up here as a county employee. I'm not up here even as a city councilman. I'm up here as a voter of this county, and you guys represent me. On this last election, I did vote for Rich, and not only did I vote for him, but I voted for his policies and his administration, knowing and hoping that Ashley would be the matron, as I'm sure most voters did. The numbers didn't lie. The people of this county wanted Rich and Ashley in those positions. Mr. Ewitz, in another meeting on August 2nd, you told another department head, you're not there to make money, you're not there to break even, you're there to provide a service. Gentlemen, the Sheriff's Department is providing more services now than they ever had. And that's largely because of the matron and the things that she's done. And I am happy that you guys tabled it now, but I do hope you squash it, because if it does go through, we will lose a lot of services and a lot of money and a lot of jobs, and nobody wants that. And I don't know if this is personal or political. All I know is this back and forth between you guys, them, it's not good for you, it's not good for them, and it's not good for the county. It kind of puts a blemish on all of us. All I'm asking is you guys listen to the voters. They voted what they want and who they wanted in there. And I mean no disrespect to anybody, but that's just the way it is. So, and I appreciate your guys' time.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Why will we lose things if this ordinance was moved forward?
Well, for one, you'll lose your federal inmates. And that the federal inmate program is providing a lot of money, which is providing a lot of jobs, and there will be no new jail. And that is a big service to the county.
Okay.
So, but I appreciate you letting me speak.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. have no new business, we'll go to department heads. Have any department heads that wanna? Renee, good morning.
Good morning. Just a quick update over the weekend. Our air handler went down. Hopefully it's just Freon, but maintenance from the sheriff's office came in, shut it off. So we have two air handlers, one for our equipment room and then one for dispatch, so it's separate from the rest of the building. So, but I've called QPH this morning and they should be there this afternoon. So we've got a couple fans. It's not horrible in there, but so, and we are on preventive maintenance schedules twice a year with QPH anyway for our air handlers. So I called them first thing this morning. So hopefully it's just a Freon issue and get that taken care of, fingers crossed. So, but I did want you to know that.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have anything, other than, I think Bert's replied, but just a reminder for our full-scale exercise on the 1st, so if anybody, you may be there
I'll be
as a
there in a different
participant, but,
capacity, yeah.
Anybody, that wants to come, we would love to have anybody there. We've worked pretty hard on it, our committee, to get that taken care of, so, moving forward. So,
That's on the 1st, right?
yes. It's hard to believe that's next week.
Yeah, that's great.
So, that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Any other department heads? Rodney? Morning.
Rodney's, he's guaranteed he's gonna say something.
And I wanted to make sure I reported the same information to you folks I did to the council, just in wrapping up a lot of our COVID funding. So I did bring in copies of what I had provided to the council, so, and just make myself available in the event you had any questions at all. I have two more that I'm getting ready to finish up with, that I'm just doing the last audit of, one of those federal grants that we had, but this were two of the original first ones, reaching all the way back into the first year, actually, when that ended fiscal year of July 2021 is one of those. So we're just getting caught up on the housekeeping of getting all those reported out to you folks, give you kind of an idea of what the money was used for and spent on during that time. So other than that, just we did get through our council review, which included, as I think I have mentioned to you folks, that we'll be looking to perhaps get a part-time health officer. So just wanted to make sure you gentlemen were aware of that as well. So. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Keep up the good work, man. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Robbie.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you, sir.
Anyone else, Sheriff?
Good morning, just Sheriff Kelly here. Just bring you up to speed on the maintenance project down at the sheriff's office. It looks like the end of the month, probably next Monday, they'll start the project. They began in the basement. So with that, we've got vehicles that are getting upfitted now. So material had been delivered in. So we're going to have the ability to get our deputies out there and the 9 new trucks that we have. And that's pretty much it. We're pulling cable today for the new phone lines. So
Oh,
and this is a question I had with our maintenance staff. We need to negotiate in some labor costs because we do quite a bit of the labor for those folks that are doing because and our people pull the wire, and that's pretty labor intensive.
Sure.
And I thought, wait a minute. I think
Yeah, why are we doing
I think commissioners paid a good sum of money, and we're at a little over 16,000, and we are putting our people into that fix of having to pull so I don't think we captured that on this project. So let's capture it on the next project, I think. So that was something that I kind of raised an eyebrow to this morning, but we'll get the project done, and the phones are getting worked on today, and all the cable will obviously be moved by us. So something I think we need to take into account next time, and our people just never say no when they're asked to help. So that's one of the other issues. So maybe we'll get that taken care of in the next project. So
we'll check on this one.
might as well. I mean, I think we can document the hours there, and that takes our people away from their other duties.
Yeah.
So and they're not laborers or our maintenance people. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, please shout out.
Good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Any other department heads? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to commissioner reports. Gentlemen, you guys
I have nothing.
I got a couple things just to follow up. Excuse me. I think it was a couple of meetings ago, we had discussed the service agreements with our not-for-profit agencies
Yes.
that we support here in Clinton County. And just want to let you guys know I'm still working on that. So I have not forgotten about it. The other thing, some of you guys may have seen this, we get a newsletter monthly from the Indiana Association of County Commissioners. One of the things that caught my eye was a historic preservation fund 50-50 matching grant program that other counties have utilized here in Indiana, specifically for projects like, obviously their historical preservation, but our clock tower is what came to mind. I think our project for the Regions building and the courthouse remodel, to my knowledge, does not include any historical preservation of our clock tower, outside of the possibility, I think, of maybe some paint on the outside. So what I would like to do, if you guys are okay with it, is to go ahead and get a hold of Cornerstone Grant Management Company, which is Amy Miller. We've had some success with her in the past, specifically the Forest Fire Department, when we applied for a grant through Okra. So I think if we can leverage some of our county funds and get someone else to pay for half of it to refurbish our clock tower, I think it would be money well spent. If you haven't spent any time up there lately, go take a look. A lot of the brick faces come off on the inside. The steps, they're all cast iron steps, and they're all cracked. You can see them where the tread rolls over the front. As you're walking up, you can see the daylight through the steps. So it's becoming unsafe for people to be up there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that would be, so for the inside and the outside of the clock tower. The clock's in great shape. If you go take a look at it, it gets taken care of twice a year, I believe, and it's in good shape. But this would just be, dressing the outside up, fixing the inside, so that if we want to have tours or the public visit that, we can do so in a manner that's going to be safe. And most importantly, we're going to preserve our history. So if you guys are okay with that, I would like to reach out to Ms. Miller.
I support that, yeah.
Okay. One other topic that has come up lately, and Jerry can attest to this, we've gotten some phone calls from folks here in Clinton County who are upset about the condition of some of the older cemeteries here in Clinton County, specifically the ones that have been taken over by townships. And Mark, I'm sure you're familiar with this. I'm sure you've seen it. Township trustees are responsible for the upkeep of cemeteries that are no longer financially viable, or they become full, or they're no longer in service. This is even family cemeteries, old church cemeteries, anything of that nature that have been abandoned. So it's the trustees' responsibility here to take care of those, and it's very specific what the Department of Natural Resources outlines as what is and what is not their responsibility to do. So some of them are being taken care of, and some of them are not. So I would like to look more into this and not just, beat up on the trustees and say, hey, you're not, but we have the authority to create a cemetery preservation board here in Clinton County. So I'm just giving you a heads up that that's something that I am currently researching as a possibility, because I think there's probably over 90 cemeteries in Clinton County, and probably less than, I don't know, I'd say a dozen are probably active. That might be short-changing the number a little bit, but there's a bunch of them. So
There's definitely negligence going on
Yeah.
some of them. I
Yeah.
mean, you just drive by and see it, and it's not necessarily by design. It's
No.
just
I think a lot of it is lack of awareness.
yeah.
Probably sometimes even lack of funding, and lack of public input, which that seems to be growing.
Yep.
So, anyway, that's all I've got, guys.
Okay. Good. All right, we'll move on to claims. We have claims dated August 5th in the amount of $14,348.79. Claims dated August 12th in the amount of $1,201.89. Claims dated August 19th in the amount of $2,940.55. Biweekly claims dated August 22nd in the amount of $608,355.79. And court claims dated August 22nd in the amount of $56,576.68.
Motion to approve claims.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0 to approve claims. We have payroll dated July 29th in the amount of $453,610.39. We have Board of Health payroll dated July 29th in an amount of $831.95. And EMS payroll dated July 29th in an amount of $258.06. I have a motion to entertain.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion to approve payroll by 3-0. We have minutes from a regular meeting dated, what was the date? It's not on there.
Sorry,
August 2nd.
And then
And then we have executive session minute meetings from August 18th. Do I have a motion for the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion for minutes approved 3-0. Is there any other business that needs to come before the commissioners today? Okay, see none, I'll